This is to show you the condition after I'm partially out. I just found something on hand that was a little plastic shim, and that's probably less than 1 millimeter thick. I started by getting fingernails behind this seam. It's very tight, and then I wedged what I could in there, and then I wedged something bigger, and I had a few of these plastic parts hanging around, and I slid them around, and these little hooks gave a very firm pop when they popped out, and they didn't want to come easily, and each one had to fight a little bit until I got about 3 or 4 of them out, and now it's about to pop out, and I'm confident enough to have turned on my video. The next thing you need to know is that you need to get one of these fuse extenders. You can get these, about a dozen of those on Amazon, of all the different sizes if you're not sure what you need, and it's going to have your right size. And that's what you use to plug into the fuse box. On this model, I found that this opening here, and that has a number on it that I can't read right now, but you'll find in the cargo area fuse compartment, there's going to be a little fold-up sheet that you can read what everything means. This is an unused one, and maybe you can read it. 128 is the slot number. And so that has the quality of being off when the car is off, and it switches on with the lights. So all you do is plug your fuse into that slot. I couldn't tell you if the other slot works the same way because I had a defective one that didn't connect right. I used an ohm meter to make sure which way the connections were going, and then so that gets you your fused output right there, and this goes into this fuse slot here. I should add that the fuse box is accessible by releasing these little buttons here on each end. If you do it on both ends, this whole assembly will pull up, and you can see all the wires coming in underneath. I didn't want to get into that big wiring harness that comes in on the side all wrapped up with tape and monkey with that, so I just snuck into the drain hole. For getting the wire into the fuse box, the trick is that underneath in the bottom, and you probably won't see it, but you can feel it from underneath, there is a little weep hole for draining any water that gets in there, and you can feed your wire right up through there. I did that after clipping off the connector and stripping it for a different kind of a connector. And then you're going in there and it's all sealed and you haven't drilled any holes in your fuse box, which should make you feel all better. Anyway, and then I will show you. You need to find a source for these little connectors that crimp on with a tool like that. And this is the male side that mates to it. Female side is the power, so it's not dangling around with live voltage exposed if something came loose. That's a nice clean look we get in our fuse box. Even a Mercedes technician digging in here is not going to raise any big alarm that there's something that's been done amateurly. They'll know something's been done, but not by an amateur. And then to put the fuse box back together, it's a little bit of a wedge going on here. I didn't show removing this, but those tuck in there, and these screw down, and when I'm off camera, I'm going to get it properly aligned. You'll need Torx bits for those. And you can see I picked this location here for a grounding location with the loop that comes on the wiring harness, and we have a little cap that we just pop over that, and I'm yet to tighten that up. After getting all the wiring done, you'll have one wire coming out the bottom of the fuse box down there. I zip tied it to some convenient neighbors. There is the ground point where I connected the wiring harness ground. And then that continues. There's my spare wiring. I just left it there neatly. Now they're together in one cable, and I tucked it underneath this gasket at the front of the engine area. It's staying in place. It's pinched nicely here. I used some very sticky foam tape to run the wire there on top of things. Tucking this out of the way. Failure mode here, if that comes loose, is you break your wire if it gets chopped by the trunk lid. And that tucks down easily, and you can find your way back to the rear of this. Behind the star, everything just tucks up pretty nicely. I think I put another zip tie there so things didn't come loose, but there's empty space and no fans spinning in there, so it's fine. I presume the dealer puts it on a lift and removes the lower panel. So let me show you how that turns on. Right now, nothing is on, the engine's off, and of course the star is off. Without my foot on the brakes, I press the starter button twice, and that gets us the accessory lights on, and you get that beautiful match of the LED colors, and it works just perfectly. So that light is on all the time when you want it on.